Hello, we're
It's
here.
it's me and Mr. Scott. We're gonna talk about Marvel Spider-Man for a little bit. It was a game made by Insomniac. I would probably say I've only really beaten like two Spider-Man games in my life. Ultimate Spider-Man and this game, but this is probably the closest I've ever felt to like a genuine Spider-Man experience. Like it literally feels like a movie.
See, you have more of a track record than me. This is, I would say, is probably my first main Spider-Man game I've beaten. And honestly, as you said, it doesn't make me feel like Spider-Man. And I would say this game is an amazing game. For those who have not tried it, please pick it up. I believe it's kind of cheap right now. Please pick it up.
Yeah, so we're just gonna, show you some beginning footage. Nothing super crazy because we want to keep things relatively spoiler free. I mean, the game's been out for a while, so it'd probably be kind of hard to avoid spoilers, but I want you guys to experience this on your own time. Just the amount of stuff in this game. This is, open world game. This game has, side quests. This game has certain missions to do, like clearing out, like factions. It's literally is like Batman, like the Batman Arkham games, but Spider-Man version. Like that's the
Yeah.
best way I can, relate it to someone that hasn't played it.
hmm And then for people who like the Batman games, for the whole open world feeling and being immersed, you'll definitely feel immersed. For people who like customization, there's a ton of different suits that you can use, and especially the different abilities that you can also go into. So you can play the game how you want to play it. It's a very good system.
Yeah, and like I showed you guys, there are a bunch of different difficulties. I will say, because I played it on hard, I think it was called Amazing, if I'm not mistaken, Amazing mode. If you are going to play it on harder difficulties, you can play on hard, just know it's going to be a little difficult. Some of the enemies, like the big enemies you'll encounter later, are a little bit of a pain in the ass to deal with. But definitely, if you're going to play the harder difficulties, be prepared to not only be aware of your suits and suit powers and mixing and matching them, but also be aware of, situations that you're in. So if you're in a situation where you're fighting enemies that, maybe have a lot of armor, you probably should, make a suit power available for yourself that maybe will nullify their armor and weapons. Spider-Man himself is personally upgradable as well. It's not just gadget based. Spider-Man has a skill tree. You guys have seen skill trees. Skill trees are basically in every game by now. So Spider-Man has his own skill tree and split it into three different areas. What I will say about the skill tree is pretty much all the abilities you can learn from them are useful. Pretty much all of them. The only ones that aren't super useful are the ones that are kind of just for helping you swing around. And the only reason I say they're not super useful is because it's more of a style, aesthetic thing, more than actually helping you in combat. Also, another amazing thing about this game is they did a really good job with the story. The story is very believable. The acting is very well done. Voice acting is great all across the board. And I think I'll let Tyreek speak on the villains part.
Now, villains, see, as I came into the game not really knowing a lot about the villains, but experiencing those villains like Kingpin, it's like he, as you play the game, he's probably one of the first people that you meet, and just seeing how the actor portrayed Kingpin, well, I should say the game portrayed Kingpin, and not even just Kingpin himself, the other villains that you meet. I don't want to say too much because again, I want people to experience it, but I will tell you about Kingpin. Him himself, how the game portrays these villains are very well executed. It's very well done. I feel like it would be a good experience, especially if you are a long-time Spider-Man fan. You would enjoy the things that they're giving you a villain. And then if you love the game even more, there are DLCs that you can go into to give you some more stories, and just it'll be a good experience for you to see and try out. I feel like this is a game for those people who are not a fan, who are fans of Spider-Man. It's something for you to experience. It's a very good thing.
Bringing the hammer.
Yeah, they also do a great job in making the world feel lived in, as I was alluding to about the side quests and stuff. They make it to where every villain, for the most part, aside from, you know, one of the ones that's side mission based, they pretty much make every villain have a part in the story. They matter. You know, it's not like they're just there. You also see the relationship, you know, Peter has, you know, as being Spider-Man, the relationship Peter has as being Peter Parker. There's actually a lot of Peter Parker segments in it. And usually you would think, but I want to be Spider-Man. Why would I want to be Parker? But they do it in a way that makes it feel right. They do it in a way that doesn't make you feel like, oh, I'm being Peter Parker. That's kind of boring. Who wants to do that? It's like, no, it's actually fun. I should have started this on easy. I just got hit. Hold on.
Yeah, the difficulty does not play. The difficulty does not play.
You guys all, damn it. Well, now you just saw me die. You saw what that looks like. But yeah, the difficulty is definitely not easy. Whenever you die, you'll see the screen like it just showed you. It has like cool little, this game is definitely kind of like how one of my friends mentioned. It's about the little things, you know. It's about all the finer details that really bring the experience together. It's definitely one of those things that you'll notice even from jump, like things like, you know, the load screens, or, you know, the in-game cutscenes. It'll show the spider suit you're wearing. Like, it won't just show a generic version. It'll show the one you're wearing, the one you're using. So it really adds to the experience and makes you feel like, oh man, you know, this feels personal to me. You know, it doesn't just feel like everyone else went on this journey. It was like, no, it was me and Spider-Man, or Spider-Man and I. So you'll usually see to the top left your health, top right will usually be your gadgets. In this case, we just have regular, you know, web shooters. You're gonna need to know how to dodge a lot in this game, especially during some of the harder levels or scenes. It's gonna require you to like operate, and if you just like look at it, especially, you know, just starting, it's gonna be like, damn, how the hell are you supposed to survive that? There's so many enemies. Like, the screen will get full of enemies at times, and yes, at times it does feel a little bit unfair, but never so much to the point to where it was like, damn, like it's not like Dark Souls unfair. It just feels unfair in the way of like, man, I wish I would have done better, like that kind of thing. And then you just make adjustments.
Another thing to also keep in mind is that it's actually funny to think, in some games, you know, you don't really have to think about decisions that you have to do, but especially when you play on a harder difficulty in the game, you actually have to plan out what you're going to do. What type of gadgets you're going to do, how you're going to be swinging into action. You really have to plan and kind of, I don't want to say this phrase, you know, but you really have to be like Spider-Man sometimes. It's something tricky, but really tricky.
And when you fight certain enemies, you'll see some enemies are armored, some enemies have weapons. Some of the cooler skills you learn later on that I really liked is being able to disarm enemies. And when they shoot you or are shooting at you, you can grab their weapon, swing it, and then throw it back at them. This becomes very, very important, especially when enemies start having rocket launchers. And, you know, when you're fighting enemies, they're not gonna wait for you. They're gonna fire away. They don't care if their buddies are there. They're gonna do it.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna fire away. The only thing I didn't really like about the rocket launchers is, you know how when it hits you, Tyreek, it's like, oh my god, it was like a big explosion? I felt like when you threw the rockets back, it was like, I was like, no, where's the explosion? I was like, there's no explosion when I threw it back. It was like, I just like threw like a piece of paper at him.
Yeah, I think it's like that just so, you know, since Spider-Man...
Oh, it doesn't kill? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. That does fit in with Spider-Man. That's fair. As you guys could also see, the game, it will feel a little rushed in the beginning because the game just throws you into stuff, but I do promise that the pacing does get better as the game goes on, and you will feel, you know, you will feel, hold on, you will feel like you're getting better, and you'll feel like the pacing makes more sense as you go. But yeah, initially it could be a shock, like, holy shit, I'm Spider-Man, we gotta go. Like, there's no like initial early build-up, if you will. Another really cool aspect of the game is you'll actually spend parts of the game, I'm not gonna really go into superior detail about it, but you'll spend parts of the game where you're not even playing as Peter or as Spider-Man. They really use everybody they introduce in the game.
Yeah. Really nice too. It's really, really nice. The characters that they bring in. It's like I said, this game brings a lot of fan service with that, and it's just beautiful, beautiful. And it's something that especially long-time Spider-Man fans will really appreciate. It's really, and coming from a person who doesn't know too much about the lore of Spider-Man, even that made me smile seeing the character. So, if you're worried about if it's going to be a true Spider-Man game or what's inside of the game, it surprised me.
I also say to my trophy hunters out there, the game is not that hard to get a platinum in. I'm gonna be honest with you. You can do it. Really, the hardest part, more than anything, will be finding everything. Because, as I'm sure you guys have probably seen in other videos that have spoken about it, there are some missions that are a little tedious and annoying. So some of those will be a little annoying to get. But probably the hardest one for you to get, more than anything, will probably just be beating the game on ultimate mode. Other than that, the stories, well, not the stories, the trophies aren't that hard to get. Another cool aspect I forgot to mention to you guys is there are actually sneaking times in this game. Now, I know what you're thinking, Spider-Man sneaking? Like, that's not what he does. And then if you actually think about it, you know, especially to the people that watch the cartoons growing up, or, you know, or watched or read some of the comics, there are actually times that Spider-Man did his own investigations. You know, he is, you know, a scientist after all, so he does his own investigations, he does his homework. Unlike me, I don't like to do my homework. I don't like it. I can't. You can't make me do it. You can't make. You guys are Nazis, man. You got. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait. We're doing a recording, right? Oh, that's gonna go on there, isn't it? Anyways, I lost my shit there for a second. What was I talking about, Scott?
We're talking about how Spider-Man can make you do certain things. And I really feel like that game is really something special. And see, superhero games, I'm more of a Batman person. So my favorite superhero is Batman. I love me some Batman. I can play me some Batman all the time. When introduced to Spider-Man, that was a whole different experience. And I bought that game full price too. Like, I just I took a chance, and it paid out amazingly. I was not expecting such a good game, and I can't wait for the second game. I would play the DLC, but it's like I have to get them at a very cheap price. Because nowadays, I don't buy games at full price. Spider-Man was one of those games that just took a risk, like I said before, and I enjoyed it so much. I wouldn't mind doing it again, but me as a person, I don't buy games full price anymore, and DLCs are probably cheap. I just have to save up some money. I don't have any money at the time, so I can't really give my opinion about the DLC because how, if somebody should buy it or not, I would have to try it out myself. But hopefully in the future, once I get some time and money to invest into that, that's something I would definitely love to invest in. Because Spider-Man is such a good game, and I don't want to keep on saying it's just to sway somebody's opinion. Like, that game is really something special, and somebody should really give their time to play that game. And right now, I think I saw the game for like $20, and that's such a steal. You wouldn't even, that game being $20 is a steal. And people who haven't tried it yet, I would say give it a try, especially at such a low price.
As you guys are kind of seeing as well, there are special moves he can do when his focus is up, his focus bar. He can do special attacks on people. The more you upgrade Spider-Man and the better you get. There was actually a time, I think this happened with Tyreek as well, to where my Spider-Man was so, fully upgraded, that I did like focus bar attacks like 7 in a row. Your health does increase. Also, with your upgrades, you can fully upgrade Spider-Man. So this isn't one of those experiences where they're going to force you to choose what skills to have and not have. And personally, for me, I like the games that kind of force you to have certain skills sometimes. But more than anything, I like the games to where I can max out my character, because then I feel like I did the work. I went about trying to get everything in the game. I tried to make Spider-Man as good as he can be, at least in this one.
Destroy all the evidence. I should look for a sneaky way in.
And for the DLC, I'll most likely be getting that or playing that. Just so you know, Tyreek, the DLC itself I think is like $15 right now on sale. So if, yeah, for all 3 parts, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I also love the sneak attack takedowns. They're awesome. They're a lot of fun. It's just, man, like, the more I played this game, the more I was like, wow, man, like, they really took their time. Like, they did their homework on Spider-Man. Like, I couldn't believe the amount of stuff that they put in this game to make it feel real. Another like funny little thing in this game that I would like to share with you guys is, since you're in New York, and New York has subway trains, there's actually a function a little later on that allows you to allow Spider-Man to take the subway, and it makes for funny like load time screens where he's just sitting next to somebody, or a little, damn it, I'm stuck in the corner, where he's sitting next to someone, or a little point in time to where like he's being hunted during this, oh shit, a little point in time where he's being hunted in the story, and he can't be on the trains because people know he's there. He'll just hide out on like the outside of it. It's so many great things. Like, we could spend a whole like hour talking about this game and it still wouldn't do it justice, to be honest with you guys. And the ending is very satisfying, so don't think you're gonna get one of those endings just because there's DLC and it's like the ending was shitty and it didn't it didn't meet expectations. Like, no, it exceeded expectations, believe me. And I don't know a lot about Spider-Man, but I know a pretty good deal about it, and I was surprised. Especially if you happen to be someone that really likes the Spider-Man comics. Someone that really likes the Spider-Man comics, you'll notice a lot of suits that are from the comics. And you know, that's a treat for those people for sure. It allows like, you know, interesting suits, like, you know, this one really cool suit that I like that I'll tell you guys about, where it's literally old school Spider-Man, you know, like from the memes that you guys seen. Like it's an old school suit Spider-Man, and it was just awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, that's funny. I also remember there was I remember that side mission with that the body wrestler saved Spider-Man dude, and you had to help him.
Yeah. There's kooky missions like that.
Yeah.
But I like that kind of stuff. Okay, so I keep dying. So what I'm gonna do for you guys real quick is I'm gonna just switch over to one of my other files just so we could finish talking about this a little bit more, and then we'll conclude the video, because I wanted to at least show you guys one of the boss fights, because the boss fights are very epic. I couldn't really say any of them were really underwhelming. They all feel right. They all feel well done. There is New Game Plus in this game for you guys that want to play the game a second time through but don't want to start completely over. There's also the DLC that we spoke of. You could actually buy it directly from the game if you didn't happen to buy the complete edition, and you didn't want to go looking for it in the PlayStation Network. It is there in the game. It'll be a separate category, and it'll be like, oh, do you want the DLC? It's available, you know, if you want to buy it. So let me show you a little bit here. So we got the map, the district completion, it's 100%. There's a bunch of different areas. There's areas like Harlem, Upper West, Central Park, East Side, Midtown, Hell's Kitchen, Greenwich, Chinatown, and Financial District. So those are the main districts. There's stuff that you could take a picture of. There's backpacks that when you pick it up, it has like cool little, you know, items from like old Spider-Man lore. You have like warehouses and camps where you could fight the different kind of enemies. As the game progresses, the enemies get harder and you fight different kinds. So the enemy types definitely don't get repetitive at all. You could also do these research stations for Harry Osborn, Peter's friend, and these research stations, I don't know, I really felt like a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, because like I was doing good things, like I was stopping pollution and stuff. Like, I don't know, I felt like an overall good person being Spider-Man. And then you have J. Jonah Jameson, you know, talking shit about Spider-Man as he usually does. But the thing that's funny to me is he'll usually call people and be like, oh, you know, to tell us about, you know, how Spider-Man just ruined your day. And then it was like, well, you know, people were coming and, you know, they were robbing a bank nearby and I was trying to get to work. But then Spider-Man came and saved me, so it wasn't that bad. He was like, what? No. And I remember there was a guy, like, I guess he had hired the guy to like to, you know, just say bad things about Spider-Man. Oh yeah, you could always see active crime. I guess I'll show you guys some of that real quick. Yeah, you could fight people in cars. It's really cool. But there was a point to where I guess his publicist, he says like, I don't know, he said something like, Gary, you know, I paid you, to give me somebody, that would bash Spider-Man. And then he said, so what I want you to do is I want you to fire yourself, then rehire yourself to give me coffee. Like, he's insane. So what else do we have? So we have the suits here. There's a ton of suits. Some of them I haven't even used. Some of them are kind of just for looks. They don't have powers associated with them. You can mix and match. So like, let's say you wanted to be Spider-Punk, and usually he has Rock Out as a suit power, but then you could say, no, I don't want to use Rock Out. I want to use Electric Punch from one of the other. Electric Punch is super useful, by the way. I would use that a lot if I were you. It's great for clearing rooms. I really should have used it later on in the game, like I was in the middle. But yeah, so you could pick that, and then you could say, okay, for the suit mods, I want to be able to absorb some incoming damage, or I want to be able to web attack, to make web attacks generate more focus, or increase the rate focus generates. You could have 3 different suit mods. Then you have some of the gadgets. You can actually upgrade the gadgets to give them more of a shot capacity, make the recharge rate faster. They all do different things. Some of them shock people, some of them push people away. There's a little spider drone that I thought was cool. You have a web bomb. A web bomb is probably one of my favorites. You throw it and it just webs everybody there. You got Trip Mine, Concussive Blast. I really should have used Concussive Blast more often, Tariq. That one was actually really useful. So then you have your skills here that we mentioned earlier. So you got the Innovator skill. So that's going to have a lot of, takedowns and a lot of, stealing guns and everything. You got the Defender, which is going to have to do with a lot of dodging and, maintaining combos. Then you have the Web Slinger, which is more of the style one. Then you have your mission screen always there. You have your collections. So you're going to get tokens for whenever you get backpacks, from whenever you do challenges, from whenever you complete crime, get base tokens, get landmark tokens for discovering places. Then backpack, it's going to have like the little goodies I told you guys about. And whenever you pick them up, he'll talk about them. It's not like you just pick them up. He'll give a little backstory to them and everything. It's really cool. Oh yeah, and you could always listen to J. Jonah Jameson's audios, which I don't know why you would, but that's a different story. Got newspaper articles, audio recordings. The benchmarks are always good for experience, so make sure you do those. It goes from 1 to 3. When it has a check mark, that means you completed it. You don't have to do any more. You don't have to even complete all the benchmarks to reach level 50, which is the level cap. Then you have all the different characters. It gives you the little, bio to them, their powers and abilities and everything. I won't go too far down the list because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. Then you have your moves list in case you stop playing for a little while and then you want to remember how to do it, and it even shows a little video next to each move, just so you'd be like, well, I don't remember what that looks like, so then you could just see. Then we have the DLC screen. It has the heist, that's the first part. Turf War is the second. Silver Linings the third. From what I know about the DLC, it's best to play all 3 of them, otherwise you'll risk getting the whole story. So all 3 tie in together. So if you are going to play the DLC, you might as well play all of them, buy all of them together. I personally bought my copy from a friend for like $20. He was just looking to sell it. I guess he needed some cash, so he sold it to me. And then the DLC itself is like $15-20. So essentially, in my case, I wouldn't even be spending $60. I would be spending less. you know, for a game that is well worth the $60. So yeah, that was Marvel Spider-Man. We tried our best to, you know, show you guys what we could, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video. If you guys like, you know, these kind of co-review things, you know, maybe we'll do them more often. You know, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Any closing comments, Mr. Scott?
Have a wonderful day, everybody. Always remember that you're beautiful. Play games, be happy, enjoy life. And that's all from me.
And make sure you beware of Ruby.
Yes.